Okay, more people coming. Good. Can everybody hear me? You can use the chat box if you would like to say something or ask a question, okay? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I think, yes, okay. Thanks, Jerem. And I see some students who will be going to Douglas College soon, so.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, there are some students here. I don't want to disclose their names because, you know, this is something private, but if they would like to speak up, they can go ahead and do that. But
I already recognize them.
Vlad knows them, yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, all right. So this is a special day for me because Douglas College is a special college for me. It's one of my favorites, and I have my reasons. I will not talk a lot today because you know me and I know you. So today is the day to pass the microphone to Maria and Vlad. So they will be talking about Douglas College, and you will be able to ask them some questions if you have. But before we start, I can clearly say that I have visited Douglas College in person, the campus, last year. It was last year, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, and I met all those great people. And one great thing about Douglas College is like they have, I think, great facilities, great location, very nice neighborhood, I should say. And another great thing about Douglas College is they are very responsive, very positive. Especially Vlad has a world record. You know, I asked Vlad to send me I sent an application and he responded me in like 11 minutes.
Yeah,
that's a record, you know. That was very exceptional.
That was a good day.
Yeah, but usually, you know, Vlad is very responsive, and you know, everybody knows in this process that responsiveness makes a lot of difference for everyone. So I would like to thanks again to all the people in Douglas College. So let's start. Douglas College is founded in 1970. It's not a new college, and it's one of the best in the area. So before we start, maybe I can ask Maria and Vlad to talk about themselves a little bit. What do they do in Douglas College, and you know, just a little information about themselves. Maria?
Thank you, Kyle. Hi, everyone. Hello from sunny Vancouver. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Maria Kalinina. I am an interim director of international marketing and enrollment at Douglas College. I oversee the whole operation for the marketing and recruitment. And it's been a while since I joined Douglas, and it's been a really nice journey because we have wonderful partners like at the Pathways, and that makes life easier and better when you have partners that you trust and enjoy working every day. So thank you so much for your support, Kyle. It's really much appreciated.
Thank you.
Vlad, over to you.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Vlad. Some of you might already know me. I work here at Douglas as an admissions and recruitment coordinator. So basically, when you apply to Douglas, I'm the first one to receive your documents, to give you offer, to accept you here. And then whenever you have any questions before you start your school, before you start your program, I'm the person you will be most likely talking to beside Kyle, who is your agent. So I work here for about over a year now, and I'm looking forward to see all of you here in Vancouver on our campus. And if you come here, just make sure you say hi. Yes.
Thank you, Vlad. So my second question is, as a start, let me ask a very generic question. So why don't you give us some basics about Douglas College? Oh, you're
Okay.
so ready. So here's the slide.
Yeah, so we prepared a short but very informative presentation, just according to the questions that people usually ask about Douglas. So as you already mentioned, we are this year 52 years old. We were founded in 1970. As of now, we have about 20,000 full-time students. About 4,000 out of whom are international students who come to us from more than 90 countries around the world. The ratio between students and the faculty in our school, it's 17 to 25 people, depends on the program. Some programs are more popular, some programs are less, so therefore the average ratio is 17 to 25 students per one professor or instructor. Every year, Douglas College allocate around $100,000 in scholarships for international students, which we will talk more in a bit. And the 5 differences about Douglas College, well, we have a very big portfolio of our programs. It's more than 100 programs for our international students. Maria, yes,
Yeah,
can you add?
Yeah, and we are not. You might hear that the locations are New Westminster and Coquitlam, so it's at Metro Vancouver area. It's now downtown Vancouver, which is around 25 minutes right from downtown area. But we are located very close to the SkyTrain stations, metro stations. The reason why it's called SkyTrain is because most of the metro lines, they're above the ground, and you have an impression like you are flying in the sky with the mountain view and the water view sometimes. So it's a really nice ride, really nice commute. But the great advantage of us, of the college being outside of Vancouver downtown, is that there are a lot of affordable housing opportunities for the students within walking distance from the college. It's really quiet and safe and diverse area with a great infrastructure. Plus, the college itself offers great facilities, including libraries, gyms, galleries, and our international office located in New Westminster campus, and also a career center that you will be hopefully going there and using their services a lot, is also in New Westminster.
Yeah, I wrote that SkyTrain, and that was really just like you said, and it's great because you're outside Vancouver, but still you're very close. For example, if you find a job in Vancouver, it's very easy. You have a very easy commute, not more than 35-40 minutes, and you will be reading your book or enjoying the view outside as you're reaching your destination. So it's like quite nice place. I've been to New Westminster, but still you're very close to Vancouver, one of the biggest cities in Canada. Yeah, thank you. Okay, when we look at the area, actually that's what I do. I don't just promote Douglas College, right? So I'm a consultant. So people come to me for the best option for them. To talk to them about to provide them some alternatives. Okay, and every college has its own specialties and special things about them. So what's special about Douglas College? So what can you tell us about it? Why would should a student choose Douglas College?
I think you also answered some, key points when you said that Douglas is one of your favorite colleges. And I personally, before Douglas, I worked at the language school, and I worked in the pathway department, and we worked with over 90 schools around Canada. And Douglas College was always #1 choice for the pathway students. Because of the location, because of the programs that they offer, the prices, and also the the application process, how fast the applications are processed, right? And as Vlad mentioned, we have over 3,000 international students from around the world, and right now for 2023 for September, we had 94 countries that were listed for the students who started in September, right? And the diversity of our students' body is one of our priorities. And this is something that differentiates us from the other institutions. Again, our admission process is really quick. It's like 2 to 5 business days. Sometimes it's 11 minutes, as Kyle said. We have the scholarship programs that are available to the students to enter Douglas College. Of course, you might know that in Canada in general, the full scholarships that are not really available, but the partial scholarships that can cover the tuition upon entering Douglas College are available. And students have an opportunity to receive up to 4,500 Canadian dollars in scholarship upon entering Douglas College.
That was my, a question that I was planning to ask later, but since you started talking about it, and also there's a question from Samet, may I ask a question about the scholarship? So I'm sure a lot of people would like to know more about this process. So I know that Douglas College offers a lot of scholarships, but how does this process work? So for example, if there's a student whose GPA is real high and a great student previously, so how can he or she do this? How can he or she start the process?
So in general, we will talk about the admission requirements later on, right? But in order to be qualified for the scholarship, you have to be over these requirements, right? Let's say your GPA is not 60% that is required to enter Douglas College, but your GPA is over 80%, and the English proficiency, right? So we have 2 categories of scholarship, entrance scholarship. One called regional scholarship. That gives you the opportunity. I see that Vlad might be looking for the slide about the scholarship. I'm not sure if we have it in this presentation, but the regional scholarship is eligible for anyone. There you go. We call it entrance scholarship. And the value is between 1,000 to 2,000 Canadian dollars. And the students from Turkey are automatically assessed when they submit the application for the admission to Douglas College. So what we are looking at, we will be looking at your GPA and at your English proficiency. The higher your GPA and the higher your English, the higher chances you have. It's first come, first served basis, right? So let's say if you're a good student and ready to apply, please apply. You can also, your agency, like Edu Pathways, Kyle, nominates you for the scholarship, right? When you submit the application, say, okay, I have the Jam who wants to apply for the program. Look at his grades. I think he really is the one who deserved the scholarship, right? And with this nomination, once you receive the offer will indicate the amount of scholarship. And the second one is the education entrance scholarship. We also call it merit-based scholarship. It's a fixed amount, 2,500 Canadian dollars. And it's open to all the students, but the separate application is required. It's a simple 1-page PDF form and 2 essays that are required. you will need to answer 2 questions. Why do you think you should be receiving this scholarship, and how Douglas can benefit from your achievements from the past? Let's say you've been a captain of the sport team, you're a winner of the multiple competition, you are attending a lot of United Nations seminars, so the sessions, right? What's unique about you? You mentioned it in your essay, and then closer to the beginning of the term, we gather all the applications and we select the best students. The best part is that both of the scholarships can be combined, so the students can receive up to 4,500 Canadian dollars in scholarships. The range for the regional entrance award will depend on your GPA and on your IELTS. So let's say if your GPA is close to 100% or 90%, and your IELTS score is around 8. So this kind of profile of students are usually receiving 2,000 in scholarship.
Okay, so that's great information. Thank you. What about programs? What kind of programs do you offer?
There are a lot of programs that we offer.
Maybe you might want to highlight some your star programs also.
Definitely. Yeah, Vlad, I can start a little bit and you can take over. So the programs that we offer, they vary in length and content. We offer 4-year bachelor degrees, which is unusual for the colleges. We offer a 2-year diploma, as well as the largest number of the bachelor and post-degree diplomas in the province. And this is something that we are famous for. And also we do have university transfer program. This is really attractive to the students, especially for those who are aiming to the top-rated universities. We also have the English learning program that is available for the students who need to brush up their English training before starting the academic studies. And yeah, Vlad, if you want to talk about the program and the credentials, go ahead.
Sure, yes. As Maria already mentioned, we have a variety of programs that we offer for our students. We have 2-year diploma programs for those students who just graduated high school, or let's say they only have a high school graduation diploma. We have associate degree programs. The associate degree programs, they are only offered in BC. That's the only program that is available in Canada for those students who would like to transfer directly to university afterwards. So it works as 2+2. They will do 2 years, or you will do 2 years at Douglas, and then 2 years you will do at our partner university. Most of our universities are located in BC. They're very famous, such as UBC, UVic, SFU, and the list is big, so we can show you later if you have any other questions. So this program students,
Thanks, Vlad. I think this is something we need to highlight.
Yes.
Right. So this is special in BC. I mean,
yes, it's in BC only.
Yeah. So let's say you have a high school degree and you would like to graduate from a university, but you have limited budget.
Yes.
And, universities are like mostly more, expensive.
More expensive, yeah.
Yeah, so you can start with Douglas College or other colleges with an associate degree, and then pathway.
And then continue to university, yes. This is a very good opportunity for students to save the budget. That's number one, because let's say the average tuition at university per year is around 30,000 to 40,000, whereas college is about 20,000. It's almost 1.5 cheaper than going to university. This is reason number one. The second reason is that once you just arrive to Canada, you don't really have the experience of studying in Canada. So when you go to college, you have more interaction with students, you have more interactions with professors, because usually the lectures at university is about 200, 300 per lecture, whereas in college, you have 20 to 30 people per class. So you get to learn faster. That's another reason. And also another good opportunity about this program is that students can graduate with associate degree, apply for a 3-year work permit, then get their PR status in Canada, and then continue to university as a domestic student. So there is no time requirement where you can transfer your credits afterwards. It can be next year, it can be 3 years or 5 years later on. This is another good opportunity about the associate degree program.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this might be a little confusing. So if you would like to know more about this, let me know, okay? So you can email me later, because this has a little more details, so that
Yes.
I can explain with the support of Vlad and Maria, okay?
Yes, and also the bachelor's degrees. Douglas College actually is #1 in BC by the number of bachelor among the colleges, by the number of bachelor's degrees that are offered for students. So some students who graduate from associate degrees, they later decide to stay with us and actually continue to complete their bachelor with us. Unfortunately, we do not have any bachelors in science or computer science, which is very popular among international students. Most of our programs, they are applied in psychology, criminology, and we have a very big number of programs, bachelor programs in business, mostly in business-related fields. And of course,
I know that you have in total 13 different bachelor degrees, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, this is a great amount, actually.
That's all right.
Different
And
options.
of course, the STAR programs, especially among Turkish students, it's post-degree programs, post-degrees, 2-year or post-degree programs that we have for 1 year or for 2 years. So those programs are only for students who already have bachelors in their home country, in Canada or anywhere else. They just need to have a bachelor degree. So how this program work is that many students, they who already have bachelor's degree, they would like to get an extra knowledge in Canada, or maybe they would like to potentially immigrate to Canada. They apply for those programs. Majority of students, in order to be eligible for a 3-year work permit, they apply for a 2-year post-degree program, which will qualify them for a 3-year work permit afterwards, because we are a public college with DLI number, which qualifies all students to apply for a postgraduate work permit. And then students who apply for 1-year program, they are usually eligible for up to 1 year of work permit. But what students can do, they can combine 2 1-year programs in order to be eligible for a 3-year work permit. In this case, students will get a broader knowledge of different programs, and also they won't miss the opportunity to be eligible for a 3-year work permit. Among the programs that students usually apply, I would say very popular programs are in IT field, such as data analytics, emerging technologies, cybersecurity. Also, business-related programs such as project management, supply chain, digital marketing. This is a very new program that is very popular right now among international students. And also, we have programs for students who, let's say, would like to work in childhood education field. We have a program for them as well. Also very popular. This program gets closed within a few days after we open the intake. So we have actually 6 faculties: commerce and business, science, technology, languages, and performing arts. Actually, for those students who'd like to study arts, we have a variety of programs in that field. And then so in a shorter version, these are the programs that students usually like to apply. And then based on our stats, we see that the numbers of students, they usually go towards those programs.
Okay, thank you, Vlad. So let's get a couple of questions, because I see that there are like 2 questions on the chat box. Layal, I have finished my master's degree and would like to change my current field of studies to something completely different. If I got an acceptance letter from your university, is there a possibility that my visa would get rejected?
I will reply with regards to the change in the program, and then maybe you can advise them about the visa application process and how this may impact, okay? So majority of our programs, they do not require any prior background or work experience in that particular program. I would say 90% of our programs, they do not. So many people who would like to change their career, that's very possible. We have students who graduated from teaching, from languages or philosophy. They're applying for computer science in data analytics or cybersecurity. So this is very possible for students to change. We will accept as long as they have a bachelor degree with a decent GPA and if they meet our English requirements. However, I'm not so sure about the visa process, how that works.
Say something about that. Firstly, I'm not an expert and I'm not allowed to actually talk about this. So I work with my wife, you know, she's an immigration consultant and she's licensed to do this. But I can say that if when you apply for a visa after you get your study permit, you write a letter of intent, right? So in that letter, you explain why you would like to study that particular program. And after you get your, after you apply for the visa and you make a change, then you need to change that letter of intent. So it doesn't make sense to those people. Probably it might get rejected. So there is a high risk of a backfire there. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maria, go ahead.
I wanted to add that, you know, the postgraduate programs are really popular, and these are the programs that are designed for the students who want to change their field of study, who want to change the direction, right? With a master's degree, you usually, like, let's say for the bachelor, the next step in most of the countries, this is a master's degree. And with a master's degree, you usually have to stick to the area of your study. You have to get the work experience. You have to get the higher IELTS, English proficiency on your test, right? Score, etc. But the postgraduate, post-diploma, post-degree programs, they allow you to go and change the area of study. From what I've seen in the past, our students are able to prove that this is the area of study that I want to pursue, and I will be more successful in my with my employment once I graduate. And this is something that convinced the immigration that that's the right way to go, right? So pretty much you will need to prove that back home there are employment opportunities in the area of study that you would like to pursue. And this is something that has been helping our students in the past. But again, it's better to consult with immigration consultants because these are the people who constantly submit these applications, and it's safer to go through the professionals.
Yeah. And a master's degree is an indication of a dedication on a field, right? So when you want to change that field, you need to have a good reason, for sure, right? If you can really convince the visa officers that you really need that for your academic or professional future, then it might get accepted. Okay. Thank you, Maria. So the next question is from Samet. That's an interesting question. The most important part is for me that does college have a soccer team? Because I have played at clubs and school teams as a captain, and I have gold medals in soccer, table tennis, and basketball at 5 million cities, and have 3.6 GPA at high school. So we have an exceptional sports
Yeah,
person.
we do. They
So-
sounds like a student who might be qualified for the scholarship. So it's definitely with this list, you might be eligible for the scholarship. So if you choose Douglas College, I encourage you to submit the application for the second scholarship. That is, that will make you qualify for the merit-based scholarship. In regards to the soccer team, we do have a soccer team and we do have athletics department. And on top of that, this is, we do not highly advertise because the budget is limited, but there are also opportunities of getting the athletic scholarship as well. It's also partial, but or if you are selected and if the coaches really would like to have you on the team, that you have a good chances of actually getting additional funding from the college. What I can advise and say at the moment, we do have the applications open for the September 2023 intake. And this is when actually all our athletic students start, because this is the season, right? So let's say if you take time and the only available intake for you would be January, it means that you might be late for the season in order to start as an athletic student, right? But right now it's a really good timing for you to explore this option, and we'll definitely be happy to advise you on that. And sounds like you might be a really good candidate, and one day you might be on the posters representing Douglas soccer team.
So
I would just like to
Summit.
Yeah, I just like to add about the athletic scholarships that those scholarships, they are not part of Douglas International where we work. So these are a separate applications for scholarships. So we are not actually reviewing those scholarships. How it works is that usually coaches or staff from athletics, when they do competitions, they usually scout those professional players. It's in either volleyball or soccer, and then they approach them directly and they offer them the place in the soccer team or any other sport team that they would like to be part of. That's number one. That's, I would say, this is the best way to get recruited by them. And another way is that once you already start at Douglas, you can do your participation in their team, and then they will get selected, or you will just have to show how good you are in order for them to select you and then offer you as some kind of scholarship.
So there are two requirements, right? Meet college requirements, admission requirements, academic requirements to get into the college, and also to be qualified as an athlete.
Yes.
Okay.
For the athletic department.
Thank you. Okay, good question. So what about the admission requirements? Or if you would like to go ahead with this, please do. But my next question is about the admission requirements.
Yes, sure. We will talk about our admission requirements. So our admission requirements are pretty straightforward. So when we talk about English, we do require a TOEFL with overall score of 83, or we do accept as also IELTS academic with a minimum overall score of 6.5 with no bands lower than 6.0. We actually start accepting Duolingo again with a minimum score of 110. And then we do accept pathway students from a number of pathway schools that we work with that I will show you on a later slide. You will see which schools we work with. And then if you have a student, or if you would like to improve your English through a language school, you can also get a conditional acceptance through the language school without providing TOEFL or IELTS at the later stage. So for our diploma, certificate, associate, and bachelor's degree, we do require a high school graduation. And then majority of our programs, they do require a high school math with minimum grade of C or 60%. If it's, let's say, if we talk about Turkey, it's grade 12 math with the grade of 60 or C. And then I know some Turkish students who graduated about 5 to 10 years ago. They only completed 11 years of high school. We will take 11th grade of math as well. And then for our postgraduate programs, we do require a minimum 3-year bachelor degrees. It doesn't mean that you have to only complete 3 years, but in some countries, there are only 3-year bachelor's degrees or 4-year bachelor's degrees. So we will accept a 3-year bachelor degree. Or 4 years or 5 years, it doesn't matter. You just need to graduate from a bachelor degree with a minimum GPA of 2.5 or 60%, depends how your school calculates your GPA. And then for our pathway students, these are the pathway schools that we work with. Each school has different requirements in order for them to graduate, but then we can talk about this once you apply, and then once you choose a school that you go through, we will give you a more detailed information what kind of requirements we have for that particular school.
Okay, thank you. Let's jump into the city. Yeah, Maria, you just give us some information, basic information about housing, but can you give us more specifics? Like if I'm coming with my family, how much is the average rent in the area, or what are the other options?
Mm-hmm. At the moment, most of the students are staying in the rental apartments, or if they're coming without the families, they would book a room, or the first semester they would stay with the host family, because that would be the cheapest option, staying with the host family. And then explore the city within the first semester, get to know their classmates, and rent their room and their apartment together down the road. That would be the approach. We also Douglas College, at this point, we don't have our own residence, but it's been approved on the provincial level that we will be building our new 20-story student housing and academic building.
Wow.
The project will take, I would say, 3-5 years to complete. It's a really expensive and ambitious project, but we're expecting to have over 360 beds in these facilities, and 11 stories will be occupied with the housing and also the classrooms. So that's the down the road project, but at this point, Vancouver, and this is something that I started with, right? We are not in downtown Vancouver, and Vancouver is really famous for being expensive on the real estate part, but because we are outside of Vancouver downtown, but we're in the Metro Vancouver area, the housing is more affordable. So at the moment, I would say 1-bedroom apartment, and in Canada, 1 bedroom includes 1 separate room plus a living room, would cost you about 1,500 to maybe 1,900 Canadian dollars. Again, it will depend on the location, on the on the level in the building, because even in the same building, the higher your apartment is, the more expensive the rent would be because of the view. Yeah. Which is sometimes surprising for some students, like how come, right? It's the same layout, but you're paying pretty much for the view. And for 2-bedroom, I would say it's around 2,500 for 2-bedroom, which means there will be 2 separate rooms plus a living room. And students are actually, getting together, and they're renting these apartments together and sharing the costs.
I cannot hear you.
Yeah.
You're cut off.
No.
Oh yeah, you're back.
I'm back. I'm not sure at what point did they disappear.
No, just a few
Okay.
sentences. So
All right. Yeah.
no problem.
So we're depends on your appetite, let's say. The price will vary, right? I can share the room with someone and pay $600 for the bed, pretty much, or I can live in penthouse and pay $11,000 a month, right? So depending on what would you like to have, there are plenty of options. But again, it's easy if you plan ahead of time, because you will have an opportunity to actually choose and select the best option, the budget-wise and location-wise and, you know, quality-wise.
So if you're a student with a limited budget and you're not coming with a family, you're just coming alone. So I think it's the best option to choose homestay for the first semester. Then after you meet with your classmates, you can just 3-4 of you can find a house and, you know, share the rent and all the expenses, right? So this is how it works.
And for single student, I personally would go with the homestay option, because first of all, you're living with a family, you're emerging into the culture, you know, even though Canadians, it's a country, Canada is a country of immigrants, right? And you need to understand that. But again, these are people who live in the city, who know the city, and who you will be able to share the table and, you know, share your experience, ask the questions. And this is something that actually help you to settle down, to, you know, you will be far away from home, maybe far away from friends, but the homestay experience might help you to actually not feel that lonely at the beginning. So, and it's cheaper option. Plus, most of the hospice families, they provide you with a board. So you will be getting breakfast, packed lunch and dinner, which is also will help you to save some money on the cooking and time on the cooking.
Exactly. Yeah. Good. What about the attractions of that area? You know, what can the students do when during their free time?
Vlad, do you mind if I?
Sure, go ahead.
I personally really love Vancouver. You know, it's the city where you come back and you feel like you're a tourist in your own city. There are plenty of things to do, and you know, Canada was always a place where I wanted to immigrate, and I lived in Montreal for a little bit. And it's really cold there, but Vancouver, when we moved to Vancouver, since then, I really enjoy every single day here. It's an evergreen city. We barely get any snow here, but half an hour drive from downtown, from New Westminster as well, you have 3 big mountains, and these are the ski resorts. So during the winter time, you get a chance to actually go and snowboard or ski or snowshoe or snow tubing. Lots of activities, winter activities there. Vancouver and in general British Columbia, it's a nature province, right? A lot of hikes, a lot of bike lanes. So around the city, you can do the biking. There are a lot of water attractions. So there is kayaking, paddle boarding, sailing, like you name it, pretty much. You can find it it's around 5 hours drive from Vancouver. You can also go to the ocean, to the Pacific Ocean shore and surf there as well, right? It's on the island. It's, you know, I have a family with the 2 kids, and there is enormous amount of things that you can do over the weekend and after the school. And I think this is really important for you being a student, that you can actually balance your life and study, define the balance between life and study, right? Because the healthy you are on the mental part, the more successful you will be in your studies, right? And Vancouver gives you this opportunity to actually find the way to relax. And there is a lot of student activities that our Douglas Student Union does usually. And I would encourage you to participate in these activities if you decide, or when you decide, and when you start Douglas College.
Okay, thank you. So my last question, I think this is an important question. We all know that, you know, the education is in very high quality in Canada, and colleges, the studies in universities and colleges are not easy. They are really challenging. And I hear a lot from my students saying that, hey, we are struggling with the classes. And I'm saying, hey, that's okay. That's okay. It's not going to be easy. So what if a student has hard time in catching up with a class? How can he or she get help from the school? What are the options?
There is a lot of support, Vlad. You can contribute, but from my end, I can say that a lot of support is provided for the students, and this is that we try to advertise, because, you know, back home, some students think like, I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to be seen as a, you know, students who is failing. But at Douglas College, we ask you, we encourage you to come and talk to us.
Yeah.
Please share your frustration and share what field are you struggling in. We do have peer tutoring in the libraries. There is a section where you can go and sign up for the free tutoring session with the students, with the faculties who can help you to pick up on the points that you're missing, right? And
So
I think
it's no cost, right? No cost.
There is no cost. Yeah, there is no cost. It's free for the students, and students are taking advantage of that. And you shouldn't be afraid to ask. Never be afraid to ask. And I think this is the secret, right? Sometimes back home it can be stigmatized, right? Like, oh, I don't want to be seen as a weak student, right?
Yeah.
But you are in a new country studying in the second language, right? And everything is new. Even the structure of the classes is different from back home. And this is okay to struggle in your first semesters. It just, you know, there is help that is available for you. There is also counseling sessions, right? If you need some support in terms of the you know, if you need some counseling, if you need the support in academic part, there's also free support available for you. And plus finding that balance between studies and also resting, right? Because your brain capacity is going to increase once you rest and once you focus on yourself. I think at Douglas College, we are well aware of the students, international students' concerns, and we are addressing all this concern. And Vlad, what am I missing?
Well, yeah, I just would like to add that this is part of students' tuition. We always encourage students to take this opportunity because you already pay for that. Why not use it, right? We do have different options for students. As Maria already mentioned, it's tutoring, it's free tutoring. And also, if you know a subject very well, you can get a job there as well as a tutor and get paid for that. That's another option for students to get to know each other, to make new friends, to make extra money. And then we offer students some academic advising, whether they don't know what classes to take, if they want to transfer to university directly. afterwards what would they need in order to meet their admission requirements, what classes they need to take, if they have some problems with their immigration or questions. We also have immigration team who can advise them on their work permits, student permits, or any kind of visa related questions. And then different clubs, gym is also free for students to use. Many students, they just go there just to relieve their stress, and then they get to their studies again. There are so many different options for students to choose and use, so we always encourage them to take advantage of those.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's a lot of support, actually. So it's good to know your resources, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So you have those resources. So if you know them, you will be able to benefit from them, okay?
For sure.
So you're not alone when you start in Douglas College. And if you struggle, keep in mind that you need to get some help, okay? So simple, so simple. So we have a question from Summit. Is it obligatory to learn French in Vancouver or in other states too?
British Columbia, it's an English province, so it's not mandatory, but French is part of the curriculum at school sometimes. But it's definitely all the studies at Douglas College and the other schools in British Columbia happening in English.
Thank you. Any other questions? So we have like 5-7 more minutes. If you have questions, please type or speak up.
I also wanted to mention about our programs that at Douglas College, all of our programs, they are applied, which means the students actually have an opportunity to put into practice all this theory that they received in the classrooms before they graduate. So once you graduate, you will have this beautiful line in your resume that you do have Canadian work experience, and when you enter the job market, it's so important to have this Canadian work experience. And this is something that will definitely bump up your resume once you enter the job market. And one more thing about the British Columbia is that when you choose Canada, when you choose the province, British Columbia has the lowest unemployment rate among all Canadian provinces. And there is massive development that is taking place in all the sectors. Before COVID, there was a better rate, but right now we are recovering from COVID, and the tech field, the hospitality is picking up. Human resources are something that is providing more and more employment opportunities. And as a result, our graduates, they do have strong job opportunities once they graduate. And I think a lot of students are actually looking, when they choose the province, looking at that stage, what am I going to do after I graduate, right? So BC will provide you with a lot of support in terms of the job opportunities. And choosing the college will help you to boost your work skills and get the work experience before you graduate.
Yeah, also another thing is that many of our programs, they have a co-op option. For majority of our programs, co-op option is not mandatory, but it's optional. So we always encourage our students to take this opportunity to take a semester of co-op. So once the student complete their second semester, they can start doing their co-op for 1 semester and then come back and finish their studies. What's surprising is that in BC, co-op is paid by law. So all co-op students, they must be paid by their employer, unlike in other provinces in Canada. And it's a very good opportunity for students to start, first of all, making money while they're still a student. It's a very good opportunity to make their networking, because they're studying, they making new friends. Once they start in co-op, they also making another friends, and which potentially might lead for their employment. Or we hear that many students who actually prove themselves as very good at their co-op, they get an offer to stay there part-time once they return back to complete their semesters, and then once they graduate, they already have a full-time job laid out for them, waiting for them to graduate. So we always encourage students to take this co-op option, which will benefit for students in the longer run, so that they can put a very good thing on their resume that they have some kind of experience in Canada, and if this co-op is in their field, that will be even better for them.
And usually, sorry, just to add,
Please go ahead.
Our career center helps the co-op students, right? So once you decide to take part in the co-op, our career center will guide you from A to Z, right? They will help you to brush up your resume, to prepare for the interview, to update your LinkedIn profile, to coach you on the interview skills, and help you to find the job in your area of studies.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I have a question, but I would like to know how much time we have to decide for an +1 year after first year starts. Good question.
Sorry, didn't understand the question.
A student is planning to study 1+1, so
okay.
postgrads. So when he or she starts the first year, after what time
okay.
he or she should, apply for the next one?
So a Douglas 1-year program is 3 semesters long, which is 12 months. So once students, they are in their last semester, or they just about to finish their second semester and start their first semester, this is when we encourage students who would like to continue their second program to let us know that they would like to continue with the next program. So that we can put them on track, and then they will start their program on time. So to answer this question, once you finish your second semester of the program, you should start thinking about the program that you want to study and let us know about that.
And a lot of students are actually applying for 1+1
right away.
Once when they decide to go for the college, right? You can change the program later on. The benefit of applying for 2 programs right away is your study permit application, because you will be receiving a study permit that will cover both programs 2 years, right? If you decide with a 1-year program and then decide to extend, you will need to remember and time it right for the study permit extension, right? That you will need to continue studies.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah. Any other questions? I have a question. What industries are strong in your area? So, because I receive a lot of questions from students on this one. So, I know that a lot of industries are strong in the area, but especially what can you say about those stuff? What about the job opportunities?
Yeah. I think Vancouver is always called, is often called Silicon Valley of Canada, because we are really close to the US border. We're just 60 kilometers from the US border, and all the, tech giants, there is a trend. They tend to open offices here in Vancouver. So the IT industry is really big thing in Vancouver, and it's a Silicon Valley of Canada, and definitely these positions are coming up really often and in demand. I know that human resource and accounting is actually something that is really in demand these days. Hospitality used to be big before COVID, but for obvious reasons, it's not that big these days. But it's coming back. It's coming back. This summer we had so many cruise ships stopping by, and a lot of new hotels opened up. yeah, it's growing. So by the end of 2022, according to the labor market outlook, we were expecting to have over 15,000 new jobs in all the areas, including IT sector. Vlad, what am I missing?
No, everything is pretty clear. Yes, we do have many American companies, IT companies here that always looking for software engineers, front and back end developers. We recently actually start having here a Disney in BC, Disney office, as well as Netflix office, all other companies such as Microsoft, Amazon, Google, they all have offices here. So it's very good opportunity who would like to work in IT or IT related fields, or just for IT company, because they don't just need IT people, right? They need people who manage the money, like accountants, finance people, project managers. So this is very good opportunity for students to work there as well.
Yeah, and one sector grows and others follow, right?
Yes.
They don't fall back.
Exactly.
So yeah, so they're all connected to each other. But we can clearly say that tech is leading the way in BC.
That's for sure.
And talking about IT programs, you know, these are the programs that are filled up first at Douglas College. And we've been recruiting students for September 2023 for almost 2 months already. And there is you know, the forecast that we might be closing some of the IT programs at Douglas College, which are September 2023 starts in a month or so. So hurry up.
Okay. So I think there are no more questions. So as the final word, I will let you do the closing remarks. So it's all yours. What can you say? As the final word.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for your time and for the opportunity to talk and to share our news and experience and some information. Definitely don't think too long for the students and advice, right? Because of the visas processing is longer these days, and programs are popular. But hopefully we will welcome you at Douglas College one day, and really looking forward to see your names on the list of the students in one semester.
Yeah. Also, what I want to say is that, first of all, thank you for hosting this webinar. And then students, if you're interested in applying, you should do it also as soon as possible. Investment in education, it's one of the best investments that you can actually do in your life. And then if you have any questions, you are in good hands if you talk to Edu Pathways, because they're pretty responsive. They're always willing to answer the questions, help students. I know that by working with them very closely. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us, ask Kyle. We will always be happy to answer your questions.
Okay, Maria and Vlad, thank you for your valuable time. It's always to talk to you guys personally and also professionally. And I'm happy to be your partner, and we all enjoyed the session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.
Thanks, everyone. See you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.